Okay. So, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Uh,
Yeah.
so, what were we talking about? So, what was your question to start with?
Why did Obi-Wan just give up in that fight?
Right. So, Obi-Wan, he's fighting Vader, right? This is
Uh-huh.
kind of like the last. Uh, hey, get out of it! God damn. Um. So at the time, right? There's not a whole lot of you know, when this came out, there wasn't like the prequel trilogy. There weren't books written about this shit. It was just like this is it. This is all we know of the relationship. That Obi Wan was a master, and Darth Vader was the apprentice. And at some point, something happened where Darth Vader uh, went to the dark side, and it's hinted at that Obi Wan abandoned him or something like that. Like he says, what does he say?
You, I was but a learner. When I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master.
This part's a little redcon because he says when I left you, but obviously if you watch the prequels, you know that Obi Wan left him to die, basically.
Uh,
Um, so that's a little bit of redcon. Um, that's not a huge deal. I mean, it's one line, but uh, it does change the context later on. Uh, so there's some like implied stuff here, and we don't have like any explicit information until later on in the OT where when Obi Wan becomes a ghost and is telling Luke all this shit. Um, but so the reason Obi Wan basically kind of like gave up, um, there was a few reasons. Um, so here he's basically kind of like I'd say he's kind of like passing the baton of being like the last
uh-huh.
Jedi, because obviously Luke is, he kind of like inherits the mantle of being you know, the Jedi.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like originally there was only meant to be like one Jedi. Well, no, I guess no, I guess that's not true because Obi Wan does talk about a time where there's a bunch of Jedi, but I guess in this story there's like they wanted to have like only one Jedi and uh like from a director standpoint, like it makes it more mystical if there's only like one of them.
Yeah.
And so this kind of makes it feel like a passing the baton. Uh, so when Obi Wan looks at Luke, he knows that Luke is the one to inherit uh, basically that mantle, and he'll become a Jedi just like him. Because at this point he kind of like introduces the whole way of the Jedi and whatnot, and he knows Luke is force sensitive, and um, he knows Luke is basically going to be the one to stop the Empire and the Emperor and whatnot, and
Yeah.
um, it's very I guess it's kind of established at this point that George Lucas didn't know at the time Luke was going to be Darth Vader's son.
Uh-huh.
Just because when they filmed this, they weren't even sure if they were going to make another movie. There might have been an idea about it or whatever, but I don't think they had it established in this movie. That's why in the next movie, Obi Wan kind of like backtracks on what he said and like, oh, uh, it was the truth from a certain point of view or whatever. Like you've probably heard that line tossed around a
Yeah.
lot. Because it's basically a meme at this point. Um, but yeah, in the whole of the story, like Obi Wan knows like he's the one who's going to defeat Vader or bring him back or whatever. Um, I think at the time they were just wanting him to defeat Vader and the Emperor, and not so much worried about bringing him back to the light side because they thought that was impossible. Um, but yeah, and another reason, just because like Obi Wan's kind of like backed into a corner here. He's surrounded
Yeah.
by stormtroopers. He's fighting Vader, And so like the best option for the others to escape is just kind of to let Vader defeat him. But in this scenario right here, where he like kind of like vanishes,
Yeah.
He's become one with the Force basically. So when he tells Vader early on that if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can imagine, because that it was kind of like a trap card, you know. Fucking, he had that shit hidden away. He's like, you activated my trap card. And when he got stricken down by Vader, he basically became one with the Force, like literally. That's why he shows up as a ghost.
Okay.
It's implied only people who are really in tune with the Force can become Force ghosts and kind of, I don't know how you say that, apparate themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the kind of reason behind that. What I was saying was earlier, people don't really like the fact that there's like a big movement to make their fight scene more like the prequels.
Uh-huh.
Um, Ooh, it's a 4K. Because like, I mean, this fight scene's like badass and shit.
Then you're my enemy.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
You will try.
We'll try.
Like I said, 4K, and it's like 144p for me. No, it's not you. It's fucking Discord. Keep going.
Yeah, I know, but they wanted to make it look more like that kind of fight, where they're jumping around and doing all kinds of spin. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this fight right here is like badass. This is one of my favorite fights ever. Just not even just in Star Wars, just ever. Just because it looks so fucking cool, right? This is like if you like. If you're like fascinated with the idea of like Jedi's and Sith fighting and whatnot, then this is like the fucking fight right here. This is here. This is the peak. Yeah. Now it'd be cool, to see Vader doing this kind of shit, but it's kind of like impractical because that's not how we know Vader.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of OT fans and shit that they don't really want that shit to change. Unfortunately, they're coming out with a Kenobi series, Kiko. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Unfortunately, why do you say that? Shouldn't you be happy?
No, because contrary to, I hate to say it, I love Cody. I hate his taste in media. The man watches TikToks, for God's sake. So when he tells me he really likes a Star Wars thing, I can't help but think, does he really like it, or does he just like seeing Star Wars? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is he happy the story is actually good, or is he happy that there's just Star Wars stuff?
I like The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian, especially Boba Fett. Boba Fett's really fucking bad. It's really bad.
Jeez.
I
like the idea of Star Wars. It's just like
nobody
I
does
don't
anything
know.
with it. Nobody does
Yeah.
anything with it.
Hey,
Like every time we veer off just a little bit, they get you. They get you with an interesting idea, and that's how they fucking get you. And then they pull you right back into the fan service express. What were you gonna say?
The Japanese people show that they could do shit with it, with their dark twist.
Okay,
friendly,
well,
cool world.
Okay, well, that shit, I think it's funny. I mean, I think it's cool, but I think it's funny to think of that shit as Star Wars. Like, it's not really Star Wars. It's just like,
I know.
I don't mind it. I think it's like, because obviously it's not like canon or anything like that. and they're not trying to fuck over other characters, pre-established characters.
You're saying this guy in space not breathing, cutting a fucking battle cruiser in half with his
Dude,
lightsaber?
I'm not gonna lie. I lost it when I saw that. Yeah, when you showed
I
me,
figured
when
you
you showed me the guy on top of the X-wing going into hyperdrive with his superpowered lightsaber and shit and cut a fucking Star Destroyer in half. That is some of the goofiest fucking shit I've ever seen in my goddamn life. But it was great, you know.
And how his lightsaber was so enormous that it cut it in half, but also he just had it just right so it wouldn't cut his sister in half.
Barely nicked the armor. He cut the little crystal in his sister's breastplate. Yeah.
And then to top it off, he's out there in space without a helmet, but the robot needs a helmet to be in space.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was just so stupid. They realized how silly it was, but I thought that I mean, yeah, I know
Look,
it's not Star Wars.
I mean,
like,
look, I mean, I like that kind of stuff. I don't think of it necessarily as Star Wars. I just think of it as like very like it's Star Wars-esque.
I didn't bring that up to like talk about the action, right? What I was talking about was the story. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying, and I completely agree with you because even he's having the Mandalorian, right? And it starts off with the bounty hunter first. Fuck, boy.
Yeah.
2 episodes, I think. The first 2 episodes are actually him bounty hunting, and I was kind of like engrossed. I was like, damn, you know, we're gonna get a cool ass bounty hunter. You know, we're gonna get what everybody wished Boba Fett was. You know, and of course later on they brought Boba Fett back, and he was just a fucking retard. But the like the concept of him of the Mandalorian going around fucking bounty hunting and just going all over the places. Like he starts off on like an ice planet, and not necessarily like Hoth where it's like just snow, but it's like an actual like fucking like giant glacier almost, which is cool. You see him, he gets into a bar fight. It's just great it's like almost like a D&D setup for a character. It's like, oh, your character gets to a bar. It seems like some thugs want to fight or whatever. You're looking for a bounty. You know, it's just it's a decent enough setup. It's not like spectacular, but it's good enough. Definitely enough to get you interested into the idea of this guy.
Yeah.
First 2 episodes, pretty interesting. You have the fucking Bounty Hunters Guild, which is like, again, another like kind of like D&D sounding kind of thing. At least to me, that sounds a lot like D&D. You know, having all these fucking hunters come in and basically like take bounties one at a time. I don't know. Go. And then the 3rd episode, Kiko, that's where they get you. That's where they get you. You see, because that's when they introduce Baby Yoda, right?
Uh-huh.
They introduce Baby Yoda, and then it's all fucking downhill from there. Everyone loves Baby Yoda. I fucking hate Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda is just
it's so fucking dumb.
Like, when I say consumer, I don't mean the word consumer. I mean as in like CONSOOMER, which is a big meme, as in like someone sees something popular and trendy, and then that's their personality now. Baby Yoda is my spirit animal.
No, that's exactly what it is. Like people, they look at Baby Yoda and they're reminded of Yoda, right? That's exactly why. Like if it was just some fucking random alien thing, no one fucking care at all. Not a single fucking... Even if you said this thing is the most important thing in the fucking Star Wars universe right here, this little small fucking googly-eyed motherfucker was the most important thing in Star Wars, they wouldn't care. They're just happy to see Yoda, like a Yoda-esque figure, you know?
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. But here's the thing, you know? You have... Now, because now they got you. Now you're like, oh my god, it's a Yoda baby. Whatever, you know? Where the fuck did this thing... Oh, and this is exactly how it works. This is how it works, Kiko. You see it. You become confused by it, right? Because you're like, how the fuck does this work out? How did this baby get here? Who brought him here? How is this baby even here? I thought Yoda was the last of his kind, you know? And then you start asking questions to yourself. And then you ask other people questions. And you become engrossed in these fucking questions. And that's where they get you. You're so interested by the questions you ask and the possible answers you come up with that you're willing to stick it out to find out the answers. That's how they did in fucking TFA. That's how they did in the Force Awakens. You know, who is Rey? Why is Rey here? How's she force sensitive, but she's fucking stuck on Jakku? You know, who is she related to? Because Luke was related to fucking Darth Vader. That's how he got his start. Obi-Wan was sent there. He's stuck there watching over Luke. That's how this whole fucking thing comes about. Rey, she's just fucking just there with no one there to help her, no one there to watch over her, no one fucking knows about her except for Palpatine. Palpatine's back, by the way, guys. But we didn't even fucking consider that concept at the time, you know. And at the time, I can say, as one of those people, I was speculating on who the fuck Rey was. Because I was like, it doesn't fucking make any sense for her not to be anybody. Right? Because obviously in The Last Jedi, they tried to fucking make it to where Rey was like a nobody, you know. She was related to nobody. She wasn't a clone of anybody, you know, which was the most just fucking retarded shit. It just didn't make any sense. When TFA came out and I got out of the movie theaters with Colton, we spent like several hours speculating on who the fuck Rey was. You know, I was thinking she was like a clone of Anakin or something like that. You know, dark brown hair, grew up on a fucking desert planet. You know, she's a clone basically of Vader or of Anakin specifically, I guess. And she got sent away or something like that. You know, that was my speculation. I thought that would have been interesting, but I didn't know how fucking viable it was as a storyline. What they ended up doing was actually way stupider than I could have fucking imagined. I don't even know where I was going with. Oh, that's how they get you, though. That's how they get you. Right there, that's how they get you. I went on a fucking rant. You know, explaining these theories, these ideas, these cool concepts that they could explore. You know, that's how they fucking get you. And then the rest of the fucking series, Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and Mandalorian season 3 coming up because they fucking brought Baby Yoda back in the Book of Boba Fett. They brought Baby Yoda back.
Let's go, Baby Yoda Fett. Yoda.
All 3 seasons have nothing else to do except dealing with this fucking child. Like, this literally should have been like a 1-season deal and been done. But then Kiko, you can't have all the fucking marketing. You can't have all the fucking toys and plushies of Baby Yoda if you don't have Baby Yoda in your fucking show.
Baby Yoda lives rent-free in your head.
Dude, it's fucking annoying as fuck. And people just eat it up, bro. They just eat it up. They love Baby Yoda for no reason. For no reason. Other than it looks like Yoda. It's a baby fucking Yoda. You know? The concept is enough for everybody to drop their fucking wallets off at Disney and just let them buy whatever they fucking want.
Jesus.
It's infuriating to me. Because it's like, I know this is shit. I know it's shit. And people only like it because it's cutesy and it's familiar. So you go through these next 3 seasons of The Mandalorian and they're all shit. I'm not saying if it had nothing to do with Baby Yoda, if it was only a bounty hunting kind of show, I'm not saying it would have been great. But I can't help but believe that the moment they entered in Baby Yoda, it was like their testing ground. It's like, how much shit can we put in this fucking TV series? And people will just fucking chomp at the bits for it. Apparently, it's a fucking lot. Because you put in Baby Yoda, you put in droids. They have fucking droid flashbacks from the prequels. You have the Darksaber. You have clones. Like, they start talking about cloning and shit. That's a big fucking Star Wars thing. Like, especially the prequels and anybody who's played any of the video games. Or watch the sequels, I guess. You have You have what's the next thing they introduce? They introduce RTSTs, like haunted RTSTs, I guess. I don't know. They introduce uh Luke, Ahsoka, Cad Bane. I guess Cad Bane didn't come up until Boba Fett, but Boba Fett was in The Mandalorian. Um, who else shows up? They haven't brought in Han and Chewbacca yet, but I can only speculate how long it's going to take them to do that. So you have the first two seasons of The Mandalorian. You end the second season of The Mandalorian with the arrival of robot AI generated Luke Skywalker. Because I guess they couldn't pay Mark Hamill enough to come back and voice his actual character or show up to be what do you call that, mocapped by.
Bodysuits? I don't know.
Well, because like they brought in like the young version of Luke, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure what the name is, but yeah, it's kind of like a mocap.
It's they put
Like what
they
they used
they,
with Paul Walker.
they have somebody's face, and then they digitally edit over that face. I can't remember. I just heard the word the other day. I can't remember. Because in like one of the latest episodes of Book of Boba Fett, they show Luke again. Can't remember what it's fucking called. But anyways, they basically CGI young Luke's face on some random guy. It's not even Mark Hamill. And Mark Hamill's not talking. Like, it's not Mark Hamill giving his own lines. You know what they did? It's gonna creep you out a little bit. They simulated Mark Hamill's voice. They basically made him vomit a bunch of words into a computer, and the computer simulated his voice. So it's not Mark Hamill speaking. It's not Mark Hamill there. Who fucking knows if he even knows if his character's being used? It's retarded. But season 2 of Mandalorian ends, and they have the big fight, and it looks like they're about to lose, and then Luke fucking Skywalker shows up, and he's basically comes in, hardly talks at all. I can't even actually I don't even remember if he talked at that point. I think he did. I'm fairly certain he did. But he basically takes Baby Yoda away to go train as a Jedi, and then it's just like he doesn't help out. He doesn't like help anybody. Like he shows up for his thing and then dips. When Luke Skywalker would have been like, "Oh, hey, are y'all injured? Like, do y'all need help? Like, what the fuck's going on? What the fuck is this Empire shuttle doing here? Like, what are all these fucking droids? Are the Empire coming back? Like, what the fuck?" Like, doesn't ask any fucking question. He's not a character. He's just a fucking marketing ploy, you know? Because that's how they get you, Kiko. I'm saying that's how they get you, because that's how they do it. They put Luke Skywalker in their fucking Mandalorian show, and people start talking about it, and then other people are like, "What? Luke Skywalker shows up? I gotta see this," or "I don't fucking believe that. There's no fucking way." And then there you go. There's your fucking views. You get all your fucking ad revenue out of that. You retain a bunch of Disney Plus fucking accounts. Just raking in that fucking easy money. And then Kiko, the biggest piece of shit comes out called Book of Boba Fett, and it might be the most egregious thing I've seen in Star Wars ever. It literally might be the worst thing Star Wars has ever come out with. Even worse than The Rise of Skywalker. Kiko, I don't know if you remember, but I was laughing hysterically next to you in the theater.
Yeah.
In fact, I think you, me, and Logan Cole were all laughing hysterically at The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I remember. You were laughing pretty fucking good.
It was so bad that it was hilarious to watch. Book of Boba Fett is so bad that I can barely make it through watching most of the scenes. It's insanely bad. And this is where I have to disagree with Cody. I love Cody. I can't stand his taste in Star Wars. The Book of Boba Fett is literally the biggest piece of shit. It makes Boba Fett look like a fucking inept retard. And I mean that in the most literal sense. Retard, Kiko. I don't mean to drop the hard R on you, but
I know. Oh, damn, he dropped the whole R.
it's really that bad. It's like he comes in, I think at the end of he comes out like the episode of the end of like season 2, episode 6 or 7. Can't exactly remember. It's one of those episodes of The Mandalorian. He comes in at the end, shoots Bit Fortuna, who was like Jabba's right hand man. If you're not like super familiar, this isn't gonna make any sense to you. But he comes in, shoots him. I don't know how Bit Fortuna survived because the fucking freighter that he was on, that him and Jabba the Hutt were on, fucking blew up. So unless he walked the desert, like he must have jumped ship, not got captured by the Sarlacc pit, and walked to Mos Eisley, and then just said, "I'm in control now," and no one else had a problem with that. Which in the episode they say didn't make any sense because the other Hutts wanted Mos Eisley and didn't like Bit Fortuna, so they would have just killed him flat out. I don't know how the fuck he was in charge for so long. Yeah, so that's a whole thing. Fucking Boba Fett wants to become a crime lord, but he doesn't want to do any crime. Like he doesn't do smuggling, like he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't do mercenary work. Like he's just a nice guy, Kiko. Boba Fett's
Well,
just a nice guy.
it's Disney, and they can't do that, you know?
Right, you're exactly fucking right. That's the fucking problem. It's
You gotta
Disney.
deal with what you get, you know? Sucks.
It's like Boba Fett, this ruthless bounty hunter who is like known for fucking disintegrating people. Oh, he's just a nice guy. You just don't understand, Kiko. He's just a nice guy. He's just misunderstood. His dad died, Kiko. So he's a nice guy.
Damn.
Yeah, the thing I love about anime is characters in anime are just fucking over the top, just evil for no fucking reason sometimes. Which isn't much better, but at least it's something. You know? Like, literally, like, an anime's motivation for just being ruthlessly evil and slaughtering, like, thousands of people could be as simple as, like, oh, one day my dog died, you know? And they just went full John Wick and just murdered, like, an entire city or something like that.
Jesus.
Like, it's literally just like that, you know? But Boba Fett is just, like, one of the nicest crime lords ever to exist, ever, in media. Like, he does nothing but give people jobs and, like, try and, like, be helpful in some ways. Like, he hardly ever shoots anybody when he should shoot people. Like, when you won't know this because you haven't watched the series, but basically when Boba Fett takes over Mos Eisley and is the new crime lord, some of the other Hutts, like Jabba's cousins or whatever, come and visit him and basically threaten him in, like, the wide-ass open. I don't know if you've ever seen fucking, what's it called? New York Gangster or whatever?
No.
It's a movie with Denzel Washington where Denzel Washington basically takes over his boss's position after his boss has a heart attack. He basically becomes the new, he becomes like the head gangster in New York, I think. And one of the guys is like basically wanted to do a power struggle. He's like threatening Denzel Washington and shit. And then you know what Denzel Washington, and this is a wide ass open, like the guy's like threatening Denzel Washington in a wide ass open, like on the streets in broad daylight, where like hundreds of people are around. You know what Denzel Washington does?
What?
He pulls out a gun, and puts it to his fucking forehead, and then the guy's like, what you gonna do? You gonna fucking shoot me in front of all these people? You ain't gonna do shit. And Denzel Washington blows his fucking head off
God damn.
in the middle of daylight. Everybody fucking flips out. That's the shit you should see in Boba Fett. The Hutts come to fucking threaten Boba Fett in broad daylight. Boba Fett should just fucking shoot them. Because it doesn't make any fucking sense for Boba Fett, the ruthless bounty hunter, to take fucking death threats from Hutts. Especially when they're fat fucking slugs that you can shoot very easily or fucking flamethrow. And then I hear people fucking flip out because, oh, they see Christansis or whatever his fucking name is, the dark Wookiee, the evil Wookiee, who's generically like almost comically fucking, he's black. He's evil, Kiko. He's a black Wookiee.
Jesus Christ.
It's hilarious. They see that character that they seen in some other fucking show. I don't know where he comes from. I don't know if he comes from like the Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever, but he's from somewhere else, right? And they see him and they're like, oh my god, oh it's Christantis. Oh my god. Like, look guys, it's Christantis. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this is. Like, this is just a Wookiee. Like, I know who Boba Fett is, because I've seen the original trilogies. I don't know who the fuck this random-ass Wookiee is. Like, sure, he's a Wookiee, but, like, I don't know. Is he stronger than fucking Chewbacca? Because, I don't know. To me, Boba Fett should have just killed all of them as soon as they made a threat. Here's the fucking thing, Kiko. You want to know what happens after the Hutts threaten Boba Fett? He just lets them walk off. They just walk away. Boba Fett just like, he's like, I'm not going to be scared by your threats or whatever, and just lets him walk off. Unharmed, nothing. Nothing comes of it. You know what happens after that? Christantis, the Hutt's assassin, goes in and tries to kill Boba Fett in his sleep, barehandedly. All the palace guards manage to fight off Christantis and capture him, and the Hutts come back to the fucking palace. And you know what Boba Fett does about it after they sent a fucking assassin to try and kill him?
What?
He tries to give them their assassin back. Alive and basically unharmed.
Why?
I don't know. For no real reason, Kiko. For no real fucking reason. You know what he does to the Hutts? He doesn't do anything to the Hutts. He lets them go. He's completely okay with people taking hits on him and not doing anything about it. They just sent a fucking Wookiee to assassinate him, and he was completely okay with it. Didn't do anything. The only compensation he got out of it was the Hutts gave him a new Rancor. Because the one in the Mos Eisley was dead, obviously, from the OT. But they gave him a depressed Rancor. Whose trainer was Machete. I can't remember his real name. But I'm not even joking. They gave him a depressed rank. Do you remember what a Rancor is?
Rancor?
The
planet?
No. The Rancor is like the big like monster in Mos Eisley that gets crushed by the gate.
Oh yeah.
This thing right here. I don't know if you're still watching my screen, but this thing.
Yeah, I see it now.
This is a Rancor. They gave him a depressed Rancor. And you might be wondering, what do you mean depressed? What do you mean depressed Rancor? Here it is, right here. Depressed Rancor, right here. The thing is mopey and sad. I don't really understand, Kiko, how like a giant beast like this can be depressed. I guess it doesn't really make sense to me.
That's crazy.
It's really fucking retarded. So they give him a depressed Rancor, and that's it. Like they're free to go. Like you don't see them for the rest of the series. They don't want their assassin back, by the way. They tell Chrysanthus that he's fired for failing to assassinate Boba Fett, which is completely fair because Chrysanthus fucking sucks from what I have seen. I don't know anything about this character. Apparently, he's a big fucking hit in the Rebel show or the Clone War show. But from what I've seen in Book of Boba Fett, he's a fucking retard, just like everybody else in the show. He's an idiot, and he couldn't kill a sleeping old man. And he's a fucking Wookiee. Wookiees are known for just tearing people's limbs off. And he couldn't kill an old man with no fucking armor or weapons. But this is the thing. People see Chrysanthus, they're like, oh my god, it's Chrysanthus. But this show is just so good. Look at all these things the show's doing. They brought in Chrysanthus. Kiko, you don't understand. They brought in Chrysanthus.
Cow. Mandalorian, 10 out of 10 now.
Do what?
I said they have Pedro Pascal on The Mandalorian, 10 out of 10.
That's another thing, You know, they really like that actor from fucking Game of Thrones. They're like, oh, it's Pedro Pascal. I fucking love The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's so
I think
fucking good.
There's something else too, wasn't he?
Probably was. I don't know.
Pedro Pascal, IMDb.
What did I just look up?
I think. What are you on?
I,
Mandalorian, Game of Thrones, Kingsman, Wonder Woman.
oh yeah, he was in Wonder Woman. He was the main guy in Wonder Woman.
Narcos, that's what it was. He was in Narcos.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's the person,
so yeah. So then, you know, you need another fucking cameo, right? You need another fucking old character bringing in because nobody's watching the Book of Boba Fett. So they bring in Ahsoka, they bring in Luke Skywalker, they bring in the Mandalorian, they bring in Grogu, the fucking Baby Yoda. You know, 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett doesn't even have Boba Fett in it, Kiko. That's how little they care.
Damn.
And another thing, so when Boba Fett gets out of the Snarlike pit, right? He gets captured by Tusken Raiders. What do you know about Tusken Raiders, Kiko?
Nothing. Was it like the Desert Raiders from
Yeah,
Tatooine?
the Desert Raiders, you know. The guys who almost killed Luke for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like in the original trilogy. You just kind of know them as like kind of like savages.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like they kill people and they pillage towns and shit. Like that's kind of like the basic information you know about them. So, if Tusken Raiders captured you and made you their slave, how would you feel about that? Would you be happy that they did that?
Well, no.
Well, you see, Kiko, the problem is you're a bigot. You're a bigot, Kiko. You don't understand that Tuskens are actually indigenous people, and that they're an allegory for indigenous people in the real world. Out. Hey, Kiko, I'm gonna take my dogs out. I'll be back here in a minute, and we can play some if you want.
Okay.
All right.
No passion crazed. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's all problem free. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passion crazed.
Hello.
Well,
Yeah. So basically, to finish off my rant, Star Wars is shit. Now it's gone to shit. Just absolutely tragic. Um, I don't know if anybody can save it. I think instead of just having Disney own it, I think I'd just rather just the property just be what do you call that, open source or whatever,
mhm.
public domain. That way anybody can just do whatever they want with it, and every once in a while somebody will just strike gold with it.
Yeah.
Um, there'll be a lot of just stupid shit with it, but at least we'll have some fucking variety. At least there'll eventually be interesting stories to tell. Because the way it is now, it's just gonna be the same shit over and over again. Season 3 of The Mandalorian's gonna start. It's gonna be the same fucking boring ass shit. Stupid shit with a bunch of fucking fan pandering. That has no kind of substance to it. Unfortunately, the same thing's gonna happen with Lord of the Rings. Coming out with a TV series for Lord of the Rings. It's gonna be god awful. It's like, yeah, I keep bringing up Cody because you and Cody are about the only people I talk with media and stuff. And they released a trailer for the Lord of the Rings series yesterday during the Super Bowl. It's about a minute.
Really?
It was about a minute long. Couldn't glean a single thing from the story. There's like, it tells you nothing that's about. It only shows like its diverse cast of characters. Me and Cody had a conversation, and we're talking about, the fact that it has a black dwarf and a black elf and whatnot. I forgot to mention Galadriel in fucking full body armor, which is just retarded. It might be the stupidest fucking thing. Even more so than the diverse dwarves and elves. And we were talking about it, and Cody was like, I don't really mind there being a black dwarf or whatever. And I'm like, I do. I was like, that's not the way it was written. I was like, this shit was written in a very specific way. J.R.R. Tolkien is the greatest author to ever exist ever. Like, even the Odyssey and fucking Iliad are nothing compared to what J.R.R. Tolkien did.
God damn, that's some high praise.
Well, I mean, I felt like the only reason we put it on a fucking pedestal so much is because it was from fucking ancient Greece, or the story was at least.
Because the teachers at school say it should.
Well, right, that's exactly what it is. Oh, the teacher said it was fucking wonderful, so it's just the greatest fucking piece of media ever. Let me tell you
I mean,
something.
don't get me wrong, it's great, but like,
I know it is great, and there are reasons why it's so fucking renowned. But if we're gonna be fucking realistic here, a lot of that shit was based upon pre-established Greek beliefs and shit. That was just story in Greece. I'm not like some kind of scholar. I'm not saying I know everything about it, whatnot. And there are, I'm not trying to directly compare them, I suppose, but more like they're on the same scale at the very least. Lord of the Rings and like the Odyssey, and that's not just like a fan thing. That's just like the amount of effort this man put into that shit is mind-boggling, Kiko. Like, you've never seen the Lord of the Rings movies, and I very, very highly doubt you've ever even heard of the Silmarillion.
no.
The Silmarillion is basically a giant fucking history book of Lord of the Rings. The Silmarillion takes place thousands of years before the Lord of the Rings movies or books ever fucking happen. And why did he do it? For no reason.
Damn.
It was like a history thing. It was to keep him in check. It was really just a fucking a book of just like notes and text that he wrote for like history things, like little notes for him as he wrote Lord of the Rings. It was never meant to be published. His son published it after he died. That's the only reason it's even a thing. Hold on. I think my sister's knocking on my door. God damn it. Alright, I'm done with my rant. I'm just gonna end the stream. We can play whatever.
But I'll probably play for a little bit because I'm fucking